Hey there, folks, and welcome to the Thanksgiving week edition of The Drive. I'm your host, Brian Montopoli, to talk to you about what's going on in the race for the Republican presidential nomination. Now, we had a big debate this week. It was on foreign policy, and I know everyone says the election is going to be decided on the economy, and I tend to agree with that. But that said, these foreign policy debates are so fascinating because it's the one chance you get to see these candidates really disagree. When you're talking about the economy, they tend to hold very similar positions, most of which are Obama is an idiot, essentially. And they tend to feel that way on foreign policy, too. But on foreign policy, there's a wide variety of opinions out there. We saw a lot of them on display in this debate, and I thought it was a really fascinating moment. So let's talk about what happened. For starters, I want to talk about Rick Perry and Herman Cain. These are two guys who have been at the top of the polls at various times and who seem to be on the downslide. Now, I have to say, I was not impressed with them in this debate. You have folks up there like Newt Gingrich, Mitt Romney, Rick Santorum, Michelle Bachmann even, who really look like they know these issues. And then you have Rick Perry and Herman Cain up there. Cain tends to say, well, I need to get more information before I answer the question, which isn't very reassuring. And Perry tends to fall back on talking points. And these two guys just frankly looked a little bit out of their depth on foreign policy. Now, yes, foreign policy isn't the key issue, but these debates are watched by donors, they're watched by Washington insiders, they're watched by the people who help decide who's going to win the nomination. You've got these outside groups like American Crossroads pouring money into the race, and these folks are going to pour money behind the folks they think can do the job. And Rick Perry and Herman Cain, frankly, didn't look like they could do it in this debate. So if we cut to the big board quickly, you see I have all the candidates here on the drive towards the Republican presidential nomination. I still have Perry as my second place contender behind Mitt Romney here. I'm going to move him back. You know, Perry has a lot of money, but he needs to start looking like he can do more, and he's not doing it. So I'm going to put him back here. With these other guys, Cain also is just dropping. He's going to move back a little bit too. So let's put those two guys back. Now I want to talk about Newt Gingrich. Newt Gingrich, of course, has become the frontrunner for this race, or one of the frontrunners. I was long very skeptical of Gingrich because of the campaign he was running. I'm still skeptical, but I have to say, if you look at that debate stage yesterday, there were only a few folks who knew what they were talking about, seemed to know what they were talking about, and one of them was Newt Gingrich. Now, Gingrich did, however, open up a real potential problem for himself when he took what I think liberals would say is the more compassionate position on immigration. He basically said if someone has been here for 25 years, I'm not going to deport them, I'm not going to split up families. Now, Mitt Romney jumped on that. He said that's amnesty. A lot of the other Republicans jumped on that. And the big question is going to be, how are Republicans going to respond to what Newt Gingrich said? Is he going to score points for sort of, you know, honesty and being willing to take the heat from the base, or is this going to cost him votes? I am going to move Gingrich forward. I think he had a moment that put him apart from the pack. I think it's going to resonate positively with a lot of folks. And I think he did a really nice job in the debate. So let's go back to the big board quickly. I'm going to move Gingrich. He now, to me, is going up to the 50 here and is really the strongest threat to Mitt Romney. Now, there's still a long way to go for Gingrich. He's got to raise a lot of money. There remain a lot of questions. There's this Fannie and Freddie stuff. There's this 3 marriages. There's a lot of questions about Gingrich. But the debates have played an outsized role in this race so far, and in the debates, Gingrich shines. As for Romney, not his best debate performance. Romney is always great in debates. This debate, though, he didn't dominate in the way that he has in the past. He was strong, he drew some distinctions, but it wasn't a spectacular performance for him. I'm going to keep him where he is. Mitt Romney is still the front runner. If you talk, they did an interview with Gingrich on CNN after the debate, and they said, look, if it comes down to 2 guys, who's it going to be? Gingrich said, I hope I'm one of them, but one of them is definitely going to be Mitt Romney. Romney has the money. Romney has the establishment support. As Gingrich said on CNN, he's been running for 5 years, and he's really well positioned. So Romney remains our front runner. Gingrich is right there. Quickly on some of the other folks, Ron Paul, great forum for him to really get his views out there, which of course are outside the Republican orthodoxy on issues like bringing the troops home and drug legalization. He had a good forum. I've yet to see evidence that Paul's passionate fan base can expand beyond what it is, but that debate gave him an opportunity to do that, so maybe Paul's going to get a little positive movement here. You know, John Huntsman had a good night. Michelle Bachmann had a good night. Rick Santorum, I thought, had a good night. But these folks are just so far down in the polls now that it's hard to see them gaining a lot of traction, but we'll have to see what happens. In any event, fascinating foreign policy debate, and more importantly, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. We will see you here next week on The Drive. Thanks for being here. I'm Brian Montopoli, CBS News, and see you next time.